In the last few years, the waterfront areas in particular have hit an 83% increase. Let that sink in. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I thought today I'd drop a video of my top, let's say 3 places to buy in Thessaloniki, because a few of you have reached out to me personally and said, hey, I would like to actually purchase property in Thessaloniki. You seem to love Thessaloniki, you seem to know about Thessaloniki. Where would you recommend that we start looking at buying? I thought, well, firstly, I'm born there, my properties are there. Most of my properties are there, I've got others in other places. And I thought, I definitely know this town very well. And I'm in full support of Thessaloniki. I honestly reckon that it's going up. I just thought I'd talk about it and give you guys my hot tips on where to look for what purpose exactly as well. We're going to go between long and short-term leasing. Long and short-term investment, which means that either you're leasing it out long-term to locals or you're doing the Airbnb stuff. And I'll give you a couple of areas. It might be more than 3. Let's see how we go. First and foremost, please just comment, subscribe, share, like. Give me all the algorithm juice, just so I can get it out there to more people. And it also lets me know that what I'm talking about makes sense to you guys and that it's actually helping some people progressing with their desires and needs for buying property in Greece or even managing property in Greece. I've had a few people that have reached out with certain issues as well, and I will do more videos on those as we get along. Okay, first and foremost, the number one area, I guess I have to start with, the center of Thessaloniki. Essentially, it's called Doikitirio. There are many little areas around there. I'm going to put it up on a map. I think somewhere around here is generally where I put the map. I'm still new to this, leave me alone. Okay, so over the last 5 years, the city center of Thessaloniki has experienced, get ready, a 50% market growth. As I mentioned in one of my earlier videos, I started to notice a trend over the last probably 7 years where a lot more tourists were coming to Thessaloniki. I started to see hostels popping up, a lot more bus tours going around, and I was like, this is very interesting. I met a lot more people from Australia, from America, from England, from a lot of places, Western places that were coming into Thessaloniki and just sort of roaming the streets, which is very weird for me. Don't forget, because I was born there, did a bit of growing up there, I did some primary school there, have seen Thessaloniki. I was the only tourist there at the time, like from Australia in particular. Unless you're actually a local there or like had connections there, you're not traveling really there for much. You're kind of passing through to go out, whatever it is. So ever since COVID, things have exploded in Thessaloniki because there's a lot more places to see now that are becoming more popular, like Ladadika, like some of the islands as well. Thassos is very popular, which is just below Thessaloniki. You got some very big attractions. Meteora, Alexander the Great's tomb is not that far away from Thessaloniki. Edessa with the waterfall, so everything's a couple of hours of drive. So people will come in there, and it's the main train station is very easy and very close to the central hub of Thessaloniki. So you're getting a lot of people that are buying small apartments in the city, building them up, turning them into Airbnbs, and obviously making a mozza out of them. So it's no surprise that over the last 5 years, the center of Thessaloniki has gone up 50%. To give you an understanding, during COVID, I bought a little shop just outside of the Doikitirio, probably about 10 minutes near the Lefkopiru, if anyone knows where that is. The area is called arthur.giamalidis. It's sort of one of those areas. The shop I bought for 14,000 euro. Cost me 1,000 euro to convert it. Probably dumped another stuff it, let's call it 10. It wasn't, but let's call it 10. So what's that? We're probably sitting at about 25,000 euro, right? I'll leave it at, the 25 and 30,000 euro. It's now sitting at 55,000 euro, between 50 and 55,000 euro. It hasn't been empty since the day that I finished it, and we started leasing that in 2021. And I've kept the same rent because I've got a nice tenant there. She was a nurse who was studying nursing school, now she's become a nurse, and it works for her because you've got the hospitals around the corner. There's a lot of public transport that goes straight through, and also you can walk. Everything's a walking distance in Thessaloniki as well, let's be honest, in most of Greece. But yeah, the center of Thessaloniki, if you want short-term lease, Airbnbs, Doikitirio, or anywhere in that little central hub, is going to be really good return on investment. It's also going to cost you a little bit, but you can be sneaky and find some properties that need doing up. When I'm talking to you guys, I'm talking about properties that need doing up. I'm not talking about something that's absolutely ready, done and dusted. You can absolutely buy something like that. Your return is just not going to be as great. You're not going to lose money. You might just get 7% or 8% return, which is still, insane. But when we're talking about 12, 13% return on investment, it's the places where you buy that are kind of derelict, that you can get them cheap, you can barter a little bit, you can kind of go, okay, I reckon with an extra 10k euro, I can boost it up, and then the market goes through the roof on it, and also the return on investment when you're leasing it out and doing whatever you want to do. So, Doikitirio. Okay, the second one is sort of a culmination of areas put together. And we're talking about the waterfront areas in Thessaloniki. So, predominantly Paralia, Kalamaria, and also Ladadika. For those people that don't know about Ladadika, it used to be one of the most banging areas in Thessaloniki, in the central hub. Restaurants everywhere, bars, clubs, all this kind of stuff. I'm talking like the hustle and bustle was there every night. You know, during summer, it didn't die down, except it did. Around about 2008, 2009, it just went plummeted down, which is obviously the GFC. And then obviously we had another crisis in 2015 with the banks and whatnot. And the Ladadika took a massive hit. But here's the thing. In the last few years, the waterfront areas in particular have hit an 83% increase. Let that sink in. It's absurd that within about 7 years, you're going to make it like... I can't even fathom that. And we're talking about any of those three areas. Obviously, waterfront is going to be waterfront. Anywhere you go in the world, people want to be right next to the water. But for Greece in particular, Thessaloniki as well, it's outdone Central Athens. That's what I'm talking about. That's why I love Thessaloniki so much and why I'm throwing all my money into Thessaloniki, because when you're getting those kind of returns, you could just throw a stone somewhere in the center, make it land, even if you're going to lose a few thousand in the, like you could have gotten a little bit cheap, or this guy kind of sold it to you because you're an Australian and blah, blah, and maybe the labor costs a little bit more. Cool, man, 83% increase. Call it 79. Like, I mean, it's a no-brainer for me. And I mean, again, these are things that I have personally done myself. I am not trying to sell anything to anyone. I'm not trying to bullshit anyone. I'm not trying to lie to anyone. I've personally seen this growth, and I'm not going to stop. Whether this channel does anything or doesn't, cool. I'm buying properties every couple of years over there and making return on investment. So, I mean, I'm trying to help people. Obviously, I'm benefiting from it. I cannot talk about Thessaloniki enough. Now, Paralia, Kalamaria and Ladadika. Now, Kalamaria is about, I'd say 20 minutes, 25 minutes out of Thessaloniki. It's kind of a beachy area, sort of being in a city as well. It's for those people that are from Melbourne, it's kind of like saying Williams. Actually, no, it's kind of like saying Mornington Peninsula, but just not as far out from the CBD. So, you know, you still get a lot of traffic there, you still get a lot of tourism there. There are a lot of bars down there that they closed up through COVID, but they're starting to pick up again. Some really trendy places as well that are opening up right on the water. Property prices going through the roof. And also Paralia, that's another, it's a very beautiful area. So if you're at Paralia, you're essentially hitting the beach areas of Thessaloniki. Paralia, Mikangona, Gerasia, all those areas, you can actually swim in those areas. Beautiful beaches, especially if all you want to do is just go for a quick dip and come back out. They're not phenomenal beaches, given what the rest of the country has, or the rest of that state, for, you know, especially Khalkidiki is probably another 20 minutes down the road from that area. So you're getting some decent beaches in Khalkidiki, but you're along that coastline where you start to hit those kind of beaches. So those areas have gone up through the roof. And I've got family, my uncle and auntie live in Gerasia. It's a nice little village near Mechangona. So I've grown up around there for the last, 30 odd years. And I've seen the trends. I've seen a lot of new buildings go up, which has been quite interesting, because all the tourism is funneling down there. Here's the other big thing about Thessaloniki that I didn't mention earlier on. And the reason that it's blown up, Thessaloniki just opened up a metro. I mean, it took them 20 years to build, but they finally did it. And in anticipation for all the tourism growth as well. Also, they're expanding their line towards the airport, which is why I also think that Paralia, Mikangona, all those areas, Kalamaria, are going to do big things soon. Lastly, I'm going to do one more as well. Lastly, in the inner city of Thessaloniki. It's sort of on the outskirts of the suburbs, which I'm talking 10, 15 minutes away. It's called Evosmo. Now, it's right next to where I grew up. I grew up in Abelokipos, then you got Menemeni, you got Evosmo. Evosmo is becoming a huge blowing up suburb of Thessaloniki. In the last few years, it's seen an increase of almost 30% with property markets, which is absolutely outstanding. Your euro goes a lot further there. You can buy bigger properties as opposed to Doikitirio, the inner city center. Obviously, that's like anything anywhere. But you're still looking at about, you could still pick up something decent that needs a bit of work for 50,000 euro. And you're looking at like a 2-bedroom apartment, maybe even 60,000 euro for a 2-bedroom apartment in Evosmo. Now, keep in mind, for Greeks, it's far because it's a 10-minute drive, but realistically, it's not that far. And you've got a lot of little local hotspots around there. the bars and the restaurants and the panigirya and everything, like it's got its own little community within the city. The city's 10 minutes away. It does my head in when they say it's too far, like it's far away. It's like saying Melbourne to Footscray. Like it blows my mind up. But it's got schools, it's got ecclesias, it's got, you know, kindergartens, it's got everything you need. And there's a lot more area there as well. If you generally, like, I mean, for argument's sake, where I'm from, Abelokipus is very closed in. Abelokipus, 100 years ago, Abelokipus used to be like all flat. There was nothing there. It was just residential houses. And then they started to build them up. Evosmo and many were obviously where the cows used to live. Then they started later pushing out, building up those areas. And they went, actually, let's expand the roads a little bit. And there's a lot more just air to the environment. I don't know how to, you know what I mean. But yeah, Evosmo, it's going up because a lot more families are moving out closer to those areas because they're safer. You get a lot more bang for your buck. It's not that far away from the city without going on the other end of Thessaloniki, because to get something that kind of price that's sort of similar to Thessaloniki but not in that area, you're either pushing up north, which again is harder to get to, less buses going up north, or you're going out east, I think it is, towards the airport. And to go out that way, you're then going out towards the airport. You're right near Kalamaria, or you're right near the IKEA. Listen to my Greek come out. Such a log. You're right near the IKEA and the Cosmos Center and all that kind of stuff out there, which again is about a half hour. That's an actual drive away. So that's why I reckon Evosmos is actually hitting its peak. And going up exponentially as well. Now, one other area that I want to talk to you guys about that's sort of, it's in Thessaloniki, but it's very out there. It's about 2 hours away. It's a town called Kavala. Many people might not know that, but Kavala is actually a very big sort of province outside of Thessaloniki. And Kavala has seen about a 20% increase over the last few years. It's actually going up. They've got their own university there. They've got their own beaches there. They've got their own communities there. Lots of little towns in there. But it's becoming bigger and bigger because also it's cheaper and cheaper to live out those ways. People from the city are generally migrating out to Kavala. Obviously, during COVID, we had a lot of work from home situations. They're still carried out, and people are saying, well, why do I need to spend money living in an apartment in the city if I don't really need to be here? I'm not really going anywhere. You know, why not just head out to Kavala, which is more open. You definitely get more bang for your buck. You've still got beautiful beaches up that way. It's a whole different scenery, whole different climate, yada, yada, yada. So Kavala is one of the big places that I'm keeping my eyes out on. I've got a friend from Kavala as well who went, she got family in Kavala and she was there last year and she told me all about it and, you know, what they own and what people are doing over there and how much and how the businesses are going as well. So it's quite interesting to see that kind of area. And I was actually looking at picking up an apartment last year before I bought the shop in Abelokipus. And man, I'm telling you, I couldn't find a comparison. I was like, oh, damn, Kavala's actually gone up. Like, I was looking at Kavala because I'm like, you know what, there's a university there. People are going up. They're not going to come down. There's people that need to, need rent, need to live somewhere, whatever. And I was like, scratching my head. I'm like, I thought this was meant to be a cheap place. Like, it's gone up. And I'm like, oh, well, I found what I found in Thessaloniki, and I'm doing what I'm going to do with it. And actually, I can't wait to show you guys because I'm going to be there around about July, renovating it. But Kavala is a very interesting one. It is 2 hours outside of Thessaloniki. So to get to it, you do need to land. They don't really have an airport. You've got to land at Thessaloniki and then catch a bus or take a car up because there's no real other way that you can get there. Public transport is a bus. That's about it. But those are my areas for Thessaloniki. Let me know in the comments below if you actually want other areas for me to tell you what my thoughts are. Again, I'm not an expert. This is what I have done for the last 7 years and I've seen great returns. So I'm continuing to do it. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are always asking me when they hear it, like, how are you doing this? Why are you doing this? What are you seeing? Is it easy? How much are you making? Blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start a channel, start a business as well. So if you need a consultant, you need a buyer's agent, or you need someone to manage your properties, you got issues with them. I've got my team up there. I've got an accountant, I've got a solicitor, I've got a lawyer. I've even got property agents that I deal with. And I myself am there. And my mum, who's 70, manages my properties. Wow. So get in touch, buyinggreece.com.au. Hit me up on the socials, obviously Buying Greece. You're watching it here as well. Thank you for the love and the support. I hope this is helping people. And again, this isn't for everyone. If it's not your niche, don't do it. Don't jump on it. You're going to lose your money because you're just not going to be invested. And it's like anything. I don't do NFTs. I barely do crypto. I don't, because that's just not my thing. I don't understand it. I don't do Airbnbs because I just don't get it, and I can't be bothered. So I stay out of it. Again, this is only for those people that are interested in making some money in Greece, who have got some money to spend. You need to have all your money before you buy there. You need to have a lot of ducks in a row before you buy there. I'll talk about that in other videos. If you are holding on to $100,000 and you are a fan of Greece, and you're thinking that, yes, you want to give it a shot and have been thinking about buying property there and leasing it out and but don't really know how, this is the place for you to be. Come and have a chat to me, and hopefully I can help you make that happen. Anyway, thank you very much. Bye.